I don't think I love you no more. You never seem to call me lately, but I don't think she knew me at all.
Alright guys, I'm finally back again. Hopefully you didn't think I abandoned you. I'm sure you didn't. I have been extremely busy. I have had many topics on my mind that I've been thinking about doing, and believe it or not, it's very hard to decide on a topic that you want to make a video on, because the more you do this, I'm sure anybody watching that has a YouTube channel will understand, but for those of you who don't, the more you do this, you want to be better at it each time. I know I do. I don't want to keep putting the same quality on tape. I want to improve each time. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And I want to, give a shout out to everybody that watches my videos, who subscribed. I frequently get way more views than I actually have subscribers. I wish everybody viewing would subscribe. That way we can build our community. But today's topic, I finally decided on one. I don't know why it was so hard to decide, but I decided on one. And I'm trying not to make this video too long because I have a ton of things to do. So, for those of you who are listening, don't think for 1 second that I am about to bash Laura Nirider, because that's completely not the case. I think she did a fantastic job. I think she did the best she could, and she is still currently fighting for Brendan Dassey. So, I'm not saying she did a bad job, but what I do want to point out in this video is when she went to the Ninth Circuit in front of the full panel, let's just call it that, her voice was, I can't say visibly, you can hear how shaken her voice was. She got rattled. Her voice, and I'm not saying that's, look, if you're standing there in front of all those judges, I can't speak to how that feels. Well, actually, I kind of can, because when I took my peer review for my level 3 NACE certification for the job that I do, that's exactly how you take it. Level 1 is a week-long class, couple of tests at the end. Level 2 is a week-long class, tests at the end. Level 3, to get your level 3, you have to sit in front of a 3-panel judge, and they ask you a crap ton of questions, and you have to get every one of them right. So, but, different circumstances, granted, but I do know the pressure of sitting in front of people and having to plead your case on something. I do have slight experience with that. So I'm not saying she did a bad job. I'm not bashing her. I think she did a good job. She did the best she could do. But there's 3 judges in particular that I want to... I have a lot of things I would like to say about them, but I'm not going to say on this channel because I'm going to try to keep it PG-13. But let's start with Judge Sykes. She is the lady that was talking about, she's telling Laura Nirider, well, you're trying to make new law. What you're stating the cops should or shouldn't do is not in case law. And we're here debating 2254D, habeas corpus. And you're wanting us to legislate from the bench. And Laura kind of stutters and staggers. No, Your Honor, I'm not trying, whatever. Okay? You dropped the ball on that one. But in the event like what happened here, you have all of these judges, and this lady clearly is not on board. Okay? I call her Nancy Grace or whatever whenever I watch Making a Murder, because I can't stand her tone that she takes with Laura Nirider. That's why I couldn't be a lawyer, because if I'm in Laura Nirider's shoes, when some of these judges cock these attitudes, I'm going to jail. That's just all it is to it. I'm going to jail, because you are not, especially I'll get to in a minute when old boy laughs. It's not a laughing matter. You're talking about somebody's life. If he did it, then let him serve all of his life in jail. We're here because a federal judge, 3 federal judges, said that confession was coerced. And you're going to have the audacity. I'm off track. Let me go back. Judge Sykes is grilling Laura because in her mind she's thinking Laura wants her to legislate from the bench. So in the event that Laura recognizes this, and she should have just immediately said, okay, I've lost this one. I'm not even going to worry about her. I'm going to try to convince these other judges, because this one, Nancy Grace over here, she's not on board. She says 2254D, you must lose, is what she tells Laura. So I got a ton of words for her, none of which I could say on here. So let's skip to the next guy, Judge Kane, towards the end of this hearing. He says, what was the motive of the police to get 2 killers? And Laura chokes, and she says, well, the test doesn't direct us to... I know the test doesn't direct you to do that. I'm asking, what is the motive of the police to get 2 killers? Laura, I love you. You're an awesome lawyer, but you dropped the ball, because you should have said no. The motive of the police, and I get the sense that they want to distance themselves from Stephen Avery. Whatever your reasoning is from that, now is not the time. Okay? You should have looked him in his eye and said, no, Your Honor. That's not the motive of the police. They just need 2 killers. The motive of the police is to take Stephen Avery's alibi and turn him into a witness for the state. Because essentially, without flipping Stephen Avery's alibi, they don't have jack crap. I bet anything they lose that case if they don't coerce Brendan Dassey to say the flat out lies that came out of his mouth, which is a crying shame. And going back to Judge Sykes for a moment, do we want you to legislate from the bench? No, I get it. You have to follow precedents. You have to follow laws. No, but what we would like you to do is apply the law in a reasonable manner. Okay? If the law fails, and hopefully I'm not too loud, guys, but people complain about my volume sometimes, so they can't hear me. If the law fails to have and add in protections for people of learning disabilities and low IQs of people like Brendan Dassey's, we have a problem in our justice system. I haven't read 2254D entirely. I haven't read all of the legal documents and laws that's out there on this. But according to Nancy Grace, that applying common sense to the law would be legislating from the bench. Did they overbear his will? If it's me or you that's sitting in his seat, no. Because the cops can say whatever they want, and bless their heart, they're trying to find out who murdered Teresa Halbach. I get it. They're doing their job. But if it's me or you, and I'm innocent, buddy, you better bring me that sandwich you offered me. You better bring me a 12-pack of Diet Dr. Pepper and a carton of cigarettes, because we're about to be here for a while. You better pack a lunch, because I'm not going nowhere. But for the very first thing I'm going to do, which is what Brendan should have did, he didn't know, is, hey, buddy, I want an attorney. I'm not saying jack crap. And I'm not going to go into other details, but I'm just put it to you like this. There's no way in hell Brendan Dassey should have been sitting in an interrogation room with two highly trained investigators. That is a failure of our society. That is a failure of our justice system. It's despicable. It's deplorable. And the fact that that was allowed to happen really pisses me off. Last but not least, the one that I would really like to let loose on, but I'm going to try to refrain, I'm going to try to keep my calm, is Mr. Hamilton over here. Judge Hamilton. Towards the end, I had Dr. Pepper. Taste the sweetness. I'm just playing. All right. Mr. Hamilton, you will not watch this video, but I hope one day something comes into your soul that makes you realize you are a piece of crap. Not because of your professional decision on this case, but because you think it's funny that Miss Laura is up there giving it her all in something she believes in, that her client is innocent. There's no physical evidence that ties her client to this case. And you ask her, when were the shell casings found in the garage? She says November whatever. I don't even remember. Too mad right now. And then, no, I'm sorry. You ask her, when were the shell casings found? And then you say, in the garage? And she says yes. And then you start laughing. No. Laura, did you not understand why he asked you that question? Did you not understand why this piece of crap scumbag was laughing? Just like Kathleen Zellner said, well, if there's 11 shell casings in the garage, then Brendan Dassey must have been telling the truth when he said that Stephen Avery shot Teresa Halbach in the garage. And you're just up here trying to argue this case that has no merit. No, Judge Hamilton. Laura, I'm sorry, but you dropped the ball. You should have said, Your Honor. And I don't know what terminology you would use. I don't know what terminology you can use in front of all of these judges. But in a sense, what I would have said was, Your Honor, I don't know where you're from. I don't know if you've ever been out in rural America. But there's a whole nother world out there aside from your Mercedes and your $1 million house. And it's called the country. And in the country, people own guns, believe it or not. People shoot guns at other things than human beings, believe it or not. Now, I know that Chicago has a bunch of killings, so I'm assuming you can understand the concept, right? That people kill people with guns all the time. But that's not the sole purpose, the reason why guns were made. You know, there's other uses for guns. It's not just killing human beings. People target shoot with guns. People kill animals with guns. People do a lot of things with guns. This is a salvage yard in the country. These people shoot squirrels, gophers, hogs, pigs. I don't know what they got up there in Wisconsin, but I guarantee you they shoot all kind of crap around there, right? Deer, rabbits. As myself, I grew up in Mississippi. I live in Louisiana. You really don't meet people down here that don't own weapons. And I've lived on places that's been next to rundown buildings and junkyards, and we shoot up everything. Especially, you're bored as heck. There's nothing to do for miles. So you're either riding four-wheelers, playing cornhole, or you're shooting up crap like it's World War III going on. Now, you might not be able to wrap your head around that. You might not be able to pull your head out of your butt long enough to wrap your head around that. But that's a fact. People target shoot around their property. They shoot at animals. Raccoons, possums in the garbage can. They do that. That's a thing. So it is not uncommon to have shell casings in the yard, in the house, in the garage. That's not an uncommon thing. The state didn't prove that Teresa Halbach was shot 11 times. So it is irrelevant where the shell casings were found. What if they found 100 shell casings in the yard? Did that mean that 100 rounds of ammunition got shot into humans to you? I mean, it's absolutely absurd. And the fact that he laughed, and I never caught it the first 3 or 4 times, but the fact that I heard him laugh infuriates me. And I don't want to get carried away on what I really feel because he's a federal judge, but to put it mildly, he should be ashamed of himself. Maybe instead of laughing, maybe he should research things a little better so he can have a better understanding, and maybe then he should be allowed to sit behind a table and judge a case. Because from the sound of it, he don't know crap about what he's talking about. If you think just because 11 shell casings were in the garage that means that a murder happened in the garage, you're absolutely uneducated about half of America. And that's just facts. So, now that I got all of that off of my chest, Thomas Myrtle, we are planning to do episode 3 of Mysteries of Manitowoc. It's going to be awesome. Not sure what the topic is yet. Might be tomorrow, might be the next day. Thursday, I did a podcast with Foul Play. It's going to be premiering Thursday. I want to say at 8 p.m. If you are not a member of Foul Play, or if you are interested in hearing about Item FL, that's what the podcast is going to be about. Make sure you go over there, subscribe to their channel. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do, please. Like this video. Any questions or concerns, leave in the comment section. If you want to find me on Twitter for any questions, it's at Whitehead0487. And I'm also on Facebook. For now, that's going to be it, and I appreciate all of your support, and thank you, and y'all have a good evening.